Hi, welcome back to Module 7 about evaluating a CBLL program. This second video will give you ideas about authentic assessment that will be used to evaluate the learning outcomes of a CBLL course. Receiving quality feedback from students or community partners has an impact on students' self-reported learning, use of core skills, and commitment to community engagement. Formative evaluation. Assessment of student progress towards the learning and community goals are crucial for project completion and quality learning. It also can help the faculty or community partner address any problems that might arise mid-semester before they negatively impact projects. This can be done through regular, if short, progress reports that are structured into the writing for the course. What assessment tools can you think of that are likely to be suitable in a CBLL program? Please spend some time brainstorming and noting them down. This figure summarizes important tools for formative assessment: daily journal entries, spiderweb discussion, fishbowl discussion, Socratic seminar, recorded discussions, audio or online, individual meetings, and team meetings. One of these tools is journal writing. Daily journal reflections are one of the best predictors of how well your students understand the challenging investigation. Whether online or in the traditional paper format, a blog or journal entry at the end of the class period causes a student to pause and think about the research, data analysis, expert opinion consultations, and collaborative efforts that have occurred. There is a need for students to deliberately process this information. Often, students gather information but don't consider what implications that information has on their ability to answer the challenging investigation. Thus, writing a simple paragraph or two is a great way for students to stop and reflect on their understanding, and a powerful way in which you can begin to determine student growth and understanding. These journal entries help you to craft any scaffolding lessons and to differentiate for students. They also map a progression of the understanding that students gain during the course of the experience and are evidence that can be shared with students, parents, or case managers when determining learning goals and targets for students. Discussion tools are paramount for students to verbalize their learning. While there are many ways that discussion-type formative assessments can be implemented, it is important to remember that merely hovering over a group conversation doesn't give teachers enough information to fully process and determine the understanding and subsequent needs of students. Certainly, informal scans of group conversations can be telling in their own right, but gleaned information isn't detailed enough to do substantial formative assessment. Use the scans to determine when it may be appropriate to implement one of the discussion-type assessments. The use of spiderweb discussions is one of my favorite tools. Let students sit in a circle and plot the names of the students on a circular chart. Give the students a critical thinking prompt and then sit back and simply chart the progress of the students. Draw a line to connect the names each time a new student speaks to another student. The goal at the end of the discussion is to have a well-balanced spiderweb effect on the chart. If the chart looks like that well-balanced spiderweb, all students pass the discussion. If not, the group does not pass. A student who brings the discussion back on the point engages another student who isn't participating or adds significant depth to the conversation can earn extra points. While this may seem a bit harsh, keep in mind the points earned are relatively minimal in the scheme of things. The use of a modified fishbowl discussion is another way to keep students on their toes in relation to formative assessment. Socratic seminars should not be reserved for older students. In the Socratic seminar, students are prompted to ask one another open-ended questions rather than simply comment on or debate about a topic. With younger students, the teacher may have to create the bulk of the questions to guide the process. It is conceivable that this may need to occur at the upper level grades as well until the procedure is well established and practiced a number of times. I often like to run simultaneous small group Socratic seminars to ensure a greater deal of participation and overall comfort with the process. This also allows students to rotate through the responsibility of being in the hot seat, as I like to call it. Thus, it may be necessary to videotape the seminars in order to actively assess each student's critical thinking capabilities. Students can reflect on the seminar and critique one another on the understanding of the information. It is also helpful in creating new next steps for promoting critical thinking about the challenging investigation. Small group discussions can be recorded via recording device. Student groups were prompted with a critical thinking question related to the content being applied to the challenging investigation. If an online tool or recording device is not available, it is possible to schedule small group discussions to take place one at a time while you simply monitor and take notes. This method certainly involves more logistical planning, but it can be accomplished. One group could meet while the other groups are engaged in another segment of the challenging investigation, for example. Individual and group meetings are an important part of assessing not only content knowledge and critical thinking about the content, but also collaboration among students if they are working in teams. Try to schedule at least 2 group meetings and 2 individual meetings during a course. It is important to conduct both types of meetings, as you will surely receive 2 different perspectives. The group mentality may be very different from the mindset of a student speaking with you one-on-one. Keep the meetings short and on schedule. Have students sign up for the 5-minute meetings and delve into any issues that you have already determined based on other formative assessments you have been conducting. These meetings can be scheduled during class time. There is not a need to provide before school and after school meeting hours unless you are compelled to do so. Whatever formative assessment practices you employ during the course, be sure to utilize the information to further guide your implementation process. Formative assessment will help you to monitor the growth of each student and make determinations for supporting each student to better instruct your decisions on how to differentiate as needed. Thus, CBLL, while created for a class as a whole, can and should be tailored to each student. In short, we've talked about some tools that can be utilized to assess learning outcomes of authentic learning experience. Can you name any of them? Daily journal entries, spiderweb discussion, fishbowl discussion, Socratic seminar, recorded discussions, audio or online, individual meetings, team meetings. Thanks for watching.